Greetings all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is live stream number 22. So good to be back. Hey Bonnie, 1 minute late. You or me? I'm more than 1 minute late, sorry. Radios, I know you're stuck at work. That stinks. Hey, if you're still listening, if you have it, I don't know how stringent Target is on their policies, but if you can hear me, I have your film. Old Radio sent me a roll of 50D that he shot of his grandfather's 100th birthday celebration, and I processed it and scanned it and sent it back, sent the file to him. But I thought, if it's okay with you, I do have a small clip, about a minute and a half long, but it's up to you, totally up to you. It's a personal video or film that I might show and just kind of show them what the Canon 1218 is capable of. Totally up to you though. I don't have to show it. It is queued up, but I won't show it if you would prefer that I did not. Hello Jeffrey, how are you, my good man? Let's see, have a fun little show going today. I want to talk about one of my mostestest, favoritest cameras. But I texted Travis, Celluloid Alchemist, but I have not heard back, and if he doesn't show up, then he's got heck to pay, or he's just busy. Certain exposures. Hey there, have you heard of Mercury Film Lab? They just opened up today, ECN2 development on all main formats, including 65mm long roll of film, also black and white and C41. Wow. I have not. They do movie film, certain exposures, or is that just still film? And where are they? I have not heard of them, no. But I need to make a note of that. Mercury Film Lab. Are they in the States? Maybe it's something that we can share to everyone. How did Piper's birthday go? My dad's was... Wait, what did that say? Boom, boom. How did Piper's birthday go? My dad's was on Friday this week. It went really good, Jeffrey. Thank you for asking. Her birthday was actually on Thursday, and then her party was yesterday. She had a lot of fun. She had a couple of her little friends over, and just had a ball. Thank you for asking. Radios, it's a little personal because my family. Absolutely, no problem at all. That's why I just thought I would ask. Okay, look at Radio's YouTube page if you guys want to see the film that he sent me. Movie film in Pittsburgh. Okay, I just made a note here at the bottom. I gotta check them out. Pittsburgh, PA. All right, we're gonna check that out. Thank you. Anyway, I'm stuck for another 49 minutes, so I'll let you guys. So again, you guys, I wish you guys could see this, but let me go to the YouTube side, but there's a heart in the middle. Anyway, I'm stuck for another 49 minutes, so I'll tell you guys when I'm off. Hey Pete, how are you? Hey Mike, Pete here from the UK. I love my people in the UK. Thank you for popping in, Pete. Something's going off on my watch here. So what I want to do is just sort of, have fun. There's Mike. Just sort of have fun. We'll do a little bit of free chat, just chit-chatting about film. And then I want to talk a little bit about this camera that I have sitting over here. And I think it was Bonnie. There's Mike. Did I already say that? Hey Mike. Bonnie, finished my first cartridge of Tri-X Super 8 in my 514 XL. What a beautiful camera. Did you get it processed yet, Bonnie? What is happening? Hey Barry, greetings all. Hope all is well. Ovi is here. Hello. Oh, there's Train Guy. Guess who's back? Is that a train or is that's the trucker? Hey, Train Guy. Good to see you. I think it was Bonnie last week that had the that asked the question about cameras. That, you know, what are the cameras that you likely have in your collection? She asked it of everyone. What are the cameras that you likely have in your collection that probably no one else does? Oh, you can't hear? Ovi can. Oh, wow. I hope everybody can hear. That was a trucker. Okay. Well, train guy can hear me. Ovi, I'm sure. I'm hoping that it's. Well, I'm not hoping it's on your end, but I am. Can everybody hear me? Ovi is saying he can't hear anything. You can hear, Jeffrey? Okay, good. Ovi, check your speakers. Hearing is okay. All right, good. Or restart it, Ovi, and see if that helps. I don't know. I'm sorry. Yes, I can. Audio is fine. Thank you, Barry. Ovi, I'm sorry. It's got to be on your side. So anyway, I think it was Bonnie that said, "Who, you know, what cameras do you have that probably no one else has in their collection?" And I totally spaced, and I think I do. Hey, Mola, I think I do have a couple cameras that probably no one else has. Mola Gamer, you can hear me okay. Thank you, Bonnie. Bonnie, that was you that asked that question last week, right, to the group? And then people were mentioning. Hey, Ken, have any books discussing how variations in chemical mixes affect the image? I do. I have a couple of books that are on my bookshelf up there. The Darkroom Cookbook helps a lot, but they don't really, I guess to answer your question, I do have some books that discuss various chemical processes, but they don't particularly break down what different like mixtures would do to your film itself. And that's a good question, because maybe that's something that I should consider looking into. I use HC110 a lot, but I typically always use the same concentrate, the B formula. But it might be neat to mess around and see just how it does affect film. That's a good question, Ken. I might have to look into that. You remember her question. Okay, so just on a quick aside, I think I have a couple of cameras that you guys might not have ever seen. I don't know if I ever talked about them before. They're very weird. Disconnected and connected and here. Okay, good. Ovi, good to go. Hey, Lyle. I wish I wasn't doing American film shooting things in Richmond, Virginia. Mike and gang, hope to see you soon. Back from Poland. Are you in the States right now, Lyle? I haven't seen you in a while. And you're in Virginia. I wish I wasn't doing American film shooting things in Richmond, Virginia. Oh, man. Oh, it's lagging, gamer. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. My internet's been a little spotty. Oh, I'm flashing down here. What's going on with that? What does that mean? Let me check on the YouTube side, make sure. Wow. You know what's funny? When I click over on the YouTube side, it is way behind. So I'm hoping it's not terrible, but I do see, now I'm looking. Hi. It is a little laggy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Dropped frames, I'm at 60%. It is laggy, yeah. Sorry, guys. Video is jumpy. Do you guys want me to log off and log back in again? I had to do that before. I'd rather not, but if it's really laggy, that's going to be really awful. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Sorry, guys. I'm looking to see if there's a quick fix for this. What are you shooting, Lyle? Is it on film? I think he is shooting, certain. I think he's shooting Tri-X 16mm, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, what is this? Fidelis the tree. Oh, hey. Paul. You guys, Fidelis the tree guy. He's a local guy around here. He is such a good dude. I worked with his dad for years, and he's a creative nut. That's Paul Fidelis. Good to see you, buddy. We'll probably save up for a Lomo tank and develop it since all labs in Europe charge. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Bonnie. Just shot my first 8mm since 1978. Waiting for a back. Do you have? Did have Ektachrome jamming thing though. Yeah, that stinks, Pete. Hopefully Kodak is getting that resolved. I did a lot of testing of new carts, redesigned and stuff like that for Kodak when they were going through all those issues. And I can tell you, for me personally, all the testing that I did, they got progressively better and better and better. They really did. So I'm fingers crossed. They had some other issues that I helped a little bit with, and I'm hoping. It's expensive for me, 50 bucks. Oh, yeah. Also, Filmboy24, have you ever done paid shoots on film? I have not. On digital, yes, but not on film, certain. You know, I'm one of those guys that always second guesses everything I do, and I know that's terrible, but I have not. It's just dramatic pauses. Pete, is that, you talking about the video, the lag? Video is laggy indeed. Okay, Nisi. All right, Paul, you too, brother. I'm so glad you're here, man. Yes, Lyle. What's the shoot? We can get back to the cameras momentarily. Yes, Lyle. So do you guys want me to? I hate to do that. I mean, we've been on 15 minutes, but I know people are going to drop out if it's not, if they can't watch it comfortably. Do you want me to log out and log back in? Dramatic pauses. Back when I had a video production company, I shot some things on Super 8. Things on film for money. By the way, how do you know if Tri-X can be developed in? How do you know if Tri-X can be developed in FOMA R100, since they are both black and white? I'm not sure I understand that, Bonnie. Pete, it doesn't bother you. Okay, I might just hang on with it. Anyway, I want to show you guys something really quick. I have these two cameras. They don't really work properly, but they're just the coolest little cameras. Have you guys ever seen or heard of this? It's made by a company called Simplex. It's a pocket, called the Pocket camera. 16mm. Check that out. I don't know if you can see the... Oh, I look like I'm flipping you off. I promise I'm not. Tiny little lens. I'm not really going to get too into it. It's super thin. Look at that, like a pack of smokes. Very thin, pretty compact. Here's your viewfinder. Flip out a little. Can you see it against me? A little wire frame, and then the back part of it where you put your eye. It's just a little parallax. See there? Look at that. And it takes film called packet film. Have you guys ever heard... Okay, Mike, I won't. Have you guys ever heard of packet film? It's not this. That used to have EXR I put in it. We all know these 16mm magazines. It's not this. This doesn't fit in them. And I'm trying to remember how this opens. Right here. Check this out. It's a little packet of 16mm film. The size difference. Whoa! Insane. I just thought it was the neatest thing, and they didn't make it for very long. They just didn't catch on. But these little packets, they came in their own, like they were entombed in these little, and even their boxes sizes were different. Those are different size boxes. But this was Super X film. Well, that's a good question, Jeffrey. I have refilled them, and I ran some tests, and they came out so bad. And that's probably why they never really made it. I don't know if they were meant to be. It must have been meant to be refilled. And they literally just had tape around them, and you just open them up. And it was real simple the way they were. There was nothing like these. Nothing like this. You went from one spool through the gate to the other spool, and that's it. because I opened one up just to see how it was done, and I tried doing it in the dark and got one loaded, and it's the camera. I mean, they're just very difficult to get one of these cameras that works. This is the Filmo by Bell & Howell 121. Beautiful camera. This one's like mint condition, but unfortunately, the guy said it worked, and I worked out a deal with him, and I said, all right, I'll try it. If it doesn't work, I'll just eat it. He was really cool. And I got it, and I put film in it, and I cranked it up, and I started hearing things rattling, and took the front off, and it was just falling to pieces. So, but this one doesn't work, but it's a really cool display piece. But these cameras took these little 50-foot cartridges of 16 millimeter. So anyway, does anybody have a Filmo 121 or a Simplex 16 Pocket? I'm going to say probably not, but I don't know. Maybe you do. What's happening? Barry, Mike, my daughter dropped off the projector I showed you. When I opened the case, the fragrance of the oil and old film time jumped back. Oh, that's a cool, that's awesome. We all know that smell, Barry. That is a cool, cool feeling. The lens on that camera, I don't even know. Jeffrey, that's a good question. This is a 25 millimeter, and I'm not even sure that I don't think this one comes off, but it's a Kodak lens. Just the weirdest little cameras. And this one here, this one I think does come off. Maybe not. Probably also a 25 millimeter. Taylor Hobson. Good little lens. This is a good little camera. I just wish it worked. So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for others. And one of these days, I'm hoping to be able to shoot some packet film. Put this back. All right, what am I missing? Gamer says, I like the idea of the compact 16. I do too. I love shooting those little magazine cameras. FOMA R100 is both the name of the black and white reversal film by FOMA and the name of the... Oh, that's a good... You know, Bonnie, just about every black and white developer out there can develop Tri-X. Tri-X is kind of the industry standard in black and white film. And pretty much any black and white developer will work. I bought some chemicals, and I'm so far behind. September was ridiculous for me. I got so much done at home, but I got nothing done with my film life. But I managed to buy all of the chemicals I need to make my own Kodak D19, which is a very high contrast developer, for some films that I'm working on for another guy. And hopefully I'll get to that tonight or tomorrow, and we'll see how well that works. Nisi says, cool. Hey, here's Dave. Wow, it's like a vintage SSD. Yeah, it kind of is. It's about the same size as one, only from the 40s. Is the packet refillable? Oh, yeah, we went over that. No, it is refillable, Jeffrey, but I don't know, it just didn't work. Any black and white reversal film should be able to develop in black and white reversal developer. Good job, Molag Gamer. So cool, Paul. Maybe for combat footage or something, old school cutting, maybe muzzle flash. Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Hey, there's Pow Pow. It looks kind of like an old. Yeah, it does look like an 8-track tape, doesn't it? About the same size. Remember that? Straight into the dash. You could only fast forward them. Oh, there's Rimjet. Oh, cameras. Cameras are cool. Are there any compact / lightweight 60mm cameras that can take spools, like 100 or 50-foot spools that you could re-spool film onto? You know, I have a 50-foot daylight spool 16mm. They're not the same hole as the 25 feet 8mm, but there are some that are relatively small. Yes, that there are. There's one, its name is escaping me, but it's almost like one you'd hold up like a still camera that takes really cool. I have one, but mine doesn't work. I'll have to think about that. Compact cameras that take roll film in 16mm, but compact. Compact. Yes. One of these days. Yeah. Sometimes the Krasnogorsk is a bit too heavy and big. Yes, this is a beast. This is not an everyday walking around carry for the most part. And you're right. There are definitely, there's trade-offs, you know, lenses, functionality, things like that. But there are cameras that are much smaller than that. Hell, the Bolexes are a little smaller than those. I was catching up on some of the Filmboy backlog. Are we going to get any more vlogs from the Halloween store? You caught that one, huh? My wife and I have already been to the Halloween store a couple times. I did not vlog it this time. That was fun. That was so corny. I love the small Bell & Howell T. No, I can't read it all because of that stupid heart. Hold on, I'll get it, Mike. I like the small Bell & Howell TA240 cameras for the small ones. Is that a 100-foot load, Mike? I'm sure you got one. You got about every camera known to man. Does that take the 100-foot loads? Because that would be cool. Other than the, you know, the compact gamer, the compact, you know, magazine ones, these take 50 feet, but they can be a little tricky to reload. But they're great. You know, this has got about 30 feet left on it. I loaded this with some old school EXR 100T, as you can see, and I don't know, I put it in there almost a year ago. I never really shot all of it. I shot a little, but I don't know why I didn't finish that. Oh, they are 100 foot. Okay, good. Molly, you might want to look at that. Hey, Russell, thanks for popping in, bud. Tight fit, but steady running. Had two Bell & Howell cameras, and both are 8mm Filmo cameras. Bell & Howell just made good, solid equipment. 8, 16, Super 8 even wasn't too bad. You guys remember those Super 8 Filmosonics, the original, the beasts. I picture, like, when I look at the Filmosonics, they had some that had the wood grain, like the old station wagons from the 70s, and they were kind of wood grain on the side. So for some reason, every time I see those, I think of, like, Vacation, the movie, you know, with the family truckster. Oh, guess what? Guess what time it is? This is the trademark Canon 514 XL black faux leather case, padded case. And we've all seen those, and they really start falling apart. And this is the magical Canon 514 XL. And if you follow my channel at all, you guys know I absolutely love this camera. And I didn't want to buy into it for a while. Everybody on the forums and whatnot were talking about how cool the 514 XL is and how it's the best little Super 8 camera you can buy. And then I started researching the price, and I don't want to spend $400 on a tiny camera that won't even shoot 24 frames per second. So I found one. And I paid 60 bucks for it. Stop, Bonnie. I know you got a better deal than me. And I paid $60 US for it, and it's in absolutely mint condition. I've had it for a couple years, and I got to tell you, I can't even hardly leave the house without it now. It is just such a phenomenal little camera. I don't know that I could say, you know, it's justifiably $400 for a good one. The optics are gorgeous. I mean, there's not much to not like about it on this thing. But I mean, what is it worth? Maybe it is worth that. It's worth whatever you're willing to pay for it, you know. Paul says 8mm makes me think of Nick Cage movie. Yeah, I know. Is that the one where he finds the roll of that Super 8 film? That was creepy, Paul. Oh no. I just got it. What? How did you get an ad? I don't even think I turned ads on. Are you serious? Did everybody get an ad? I gotta fix that somehow. Sorry guys, that should not happen. I'm gonna have to look into that. I do not want ads interrupting my live stream. I'm sorry. I did not turn that on. Hopefully that is not something that YouTube is doing on their own. Sorry. Did it interrupt? Did you come back and I had still been talking? Oh man. All right, well, we're gonna fix that. Bonnie didn't get one. Maybe you're just in the right country, Bonnie. Sorry about the ad, guys. I did not do that on purpose. I put ads, obviously. I try to limit them to one ad, maybe two tops on my normal videos, and on the live streams after they've been finished. But I do not like the fact, I don't like the fact that you get an ad in the middle of a live stream. I will fix that. May not be this stream, but I will fix that. Anyway, yes, that stinks. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, interrupted you. Okay, well, crap. No, Dave, I did not make a video. I don't have the 310, and I got to tell you, I don't know if it's any cheaper. I was going to mention that. I don't know if it's cheaper, but I'd like to have one, to be honest with you. The 310 is just like the model number suggests. It's a 3-to-1 zoom as opposed to a 5-to-1 zoom, but that little lens on the 310 is f1.0, which is the 310, and this is a 1.4, so it's a faster lens. It's way more compact. It's a really cool camera, but they are expensive. Maybe YouTube was getting greedy. Yeah, Mola, I don't like that. I hate the fact that it interrupts the stream. So whatever I have to do for next time, I can promise you I will fix it. Yes, it won't happen again. I mean, it may happen again on this stream, but I don't know how to resolve that in the middle of a stream. Got a small black screen for like half a second, and then it just continued from where I was. Okay, Bonnie, thank you. I've been watching a great channel by a filmmaker, Adam Settle. Some beautiful Super 8 on a Canon 1014 XLS. Adam Settle. I'm going to check that out. YouTube, Adam Settle. You know what's funny? I do my best, but I don't watch a lot of filmmaking channels on YouTube. I love them. I like seeing what other people are doing. I just don't watch a lot of them. Pow, it's all good. Yeah, I know, but it shouldn't happen. I appreciate it. Don't know if I told you, I picked up a Keystone Capri K24 8mm near mint. Wow. I love Keystone cameras. That's awesome, Jeffrey. The 310 kind of sucks. Oh, Nisi, you got one of those, don't you? What do you not like about it? Saw a 310 for like $10 to $15. Of course you did, Bonnie. In May, but decided to get 6 to 8 6 to 8 other cameras instead. If you guys don't know, Bonnie has this knack of finding deals. Is the 514 the one to get versus the 814 or 1014? I think they're just totally different, Mike. You know, if I'm just grabbing a roll of film and I'm going out with the family and we're going to go for a walk around the park or something, this is what I'm going to grab every single time. If I'm doing something that's relatively serious, which is rare, I'm going to grab my 814, or more than likely I'm going to grab one of my 1014 XLS cameras. I just really like them a lot better. There's a lot more features. Let me tell you what I don't like about this wonderful camera. I don't like that it will not shoot 24 frames per second. I have done videos on this, by the way, so I'm not going to get crazy. I don't like that it won't shoot 24 frames per second because I love shooting 24. And I don't like that it has no manual exposure. I know that's not important to a lot of people, but for me, if I'm shooting different stocks, then I like to have a little bit more control over the exposure. It does have the electronic exposure lock right here, which simply means, and it's kind of a pain where if I'm shooting a subject there and I want to overexpose by a stop, I'll look through, I'll see what the camera is telling me it's gonna expose it at, and then I have to find a darker region so it opens up, right? It opens up the iris, and then you have to push this little, it's a little spring-driven boing, boing, see it? And you have to hold it down and then come back to your subject. While you're holding it down, it locks it, is all it does. Then you can film, but the whole time you're holding this down, and then when you let go, it goes back to normal. So it's definitely not manual exposure, but I guess if you had to in a pinch, you can get by with that. I almost wish it had backlight compensation instead, where you could just hold the button down and it just gives you an extra stop. Love his trichrome stuff. Great channel. I'm going to check it out, Rimjet. I've never heard of him. I have a split-second black screen too. I think ad blocker killed it. Oh, okay, good. Since we were talking about YouTubers, I like the Attic Darkroom. He does some crazy development. Attic Darkroom? I like this. I want to hear more. Attic Darkroom. Okay, I shall check it. Office trichrome. There's a channel with a guy that uses a Bolex, Ryan Navazio, 16mm and Super 8. My kids are right in there. The 310 has external light meter, so it doesn't expose right. Oh, I see. Yeah, when using a filter. So the light meter is up here then, I'm assuming, right? So it's coming through here instead of through the lens, TTL. Doesn't expose right, and no prism or split image to help with focusing. Very, oh yeah, I love that split image, which is exactly what this is. Well, that stinks. Now you really got me thinking, Nisi. So, yeah, and the comedy. I bet I am the only one who found your channel from Noah from Analog Resurgence, mentioning that you had a video on reloading 16mm. Yeah, I remember when Noah put that. He put a little clip of my stuff on there. It was really cool. I like that kid. Did the chat just stop, or is it just me? I just reset the tab and got it. Guys, listen, I promise. I'm new. You guys know I'm new at live streaming. This is live stream 22, but I've made a lot of mistakes. I can assure you I'm going to check every single setting from here on out to make sure that that does not happen again. I can't stand that they're putting ads in the middle of my stream. You know what? I wonder if I can... I know I'm going to mess it up if I try to fix it now. I apologize for that, guys, and if it drives you away, I don't blame you. But next week I will be back strong, and we will not have ads in the middle of a live stream. Obviously, you don't have to. I just clicked through. I don't even know what I clicked. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, this one will shoot single frame, 18 frames per second, and 9 frames per second. Now, somebody sent me an email the other day asking about, or maybe made a comment, the difference between the 514 XL and the 514 XL S. Well, I happen to have a 514 XL S right here. I have 2 or 3 of these and none work. You can pick these up really cheap all over eBay, and 90% of them are faulty and don't work, and that's the exact reason why I think this particular model is going to be a waste of your money. In most cases, when this model fails, it fails for good. Now, I'm not saying you can fix these, but there is a lot less that can go wrong with this than can go wrong with this. And look at the size difference, by the way. 514 XLS, 514 XL. I mean, up at the bottom of the handles are even right now. And then the bodies, very, very much bigger. Anyway, somebody asked me what the differences are. And there are a few, but, well, there's a couple. The major differences, 2. This one will shoot 24 frames per second, as well as 18. You see right there? 24 and 18 frames per second, as well as single frame. And, as you all know, or maybe you don't, it will shoot sound film. See there? It snaps in, and the bottom of a sound film cartridge, as everyone I'm sure knows, is open because 18 frames in front of your picture is your audio. And you would snap these in. They don't make sound film cartridges anymore. Kind of wish they did. So it's a little bit pointless to get a sound film camera. This does not have manual exposure. All of these controls up here, those are just audio controls. So don't let that fool you. Don't let that make you think it does a lot more than this. Those are basically the 2 differences between these 2 cameras. Sound and 24 frames per second, no sound, and 18 frames per second. That's it. That's the bulk of it. You can run external power on this one, a DC, I think it's 9 volt, because this takes 6 batteries in here. It takes a lot more juice to run the sound film motors as well. This takes 2 batteries, AA batteries, in the top. See there? And it runs like a champ. There is so much less that can go wrong with these. And by the way, these 2 cameras have the exact same lens as well. Same shutter opening. They both have a 220-degree shutter angle. There's not a lot of difference. So if you're insistent on shooting 24 frames per second in a very small camera, compact Canon camera, that's not going to do it. If you need manual exposure, that's not going to do it. But if you want a really good sharp lens, nice registration, and a good run and gun, that's going to do it for you. This is a 2-pin system. 2-pin, not 1. This is not a single pin. And what that means, let me catch up. Hold on. I learned about Filmboy when I was looking on how to respool 400-foot, 35mm to 100-foot, and got recommended his 460mm without a split reel, but the found film series. Oh, thank you, gamer. I love doing found film. And I have been so far behind with all the stuff that I've been doing at my house. I haven't posted an actual video in a while, I understand that, but I really look forward to these live streams. But I do have some found film that I'll be posting very shortly. Russell says, I don't worry about it, Mike. Your live streams are always enjoyable. Thank you, Russell. I appreciate that. Also have both same price, but only the 514 XL worked. Yeah, like I say, I think I have 3 of these now, Bonnie, and none of them work. And I've done a lot of research on repairing these because I've actually gotten some cameras to work. And once they break down, there's some components in here that are nearly impossible to fix. So, yeah, I love that you read and respond to every comment. That makes your live stream so unique. The beauty of a small community. Thank you, gamer. Thank you again, my friend. I can't imagine doing a stream and ignoring everybody. And I've, you know, have jumped in on a couple live streams, and it just doesn't make it very much fun. That's why I like to do it. This is the time to interact. I learn a lot, honestly, from you guys. I really do. Also found the can, Devonshire, how are you? The video took 13 cartridges to make and was shot 2 months ago in Vienna. Did you mention that already? Which video, Devonshire? The video took 13 cartridges to make and was shot 2 months ago in Vienna. I was looking for videos about developing Kodachrome, found the Filmboy24 channel, and the rest is history. Ugh, so sorry for you. Thank you, Rimjet. What camera was it that you had that could take the 200-foot cartridges? That I have a couple. The Canon 200/8, Canon Pacific 200/8 PXL or XL. It's a sound camera, and I think most of the 200-foot cartridges or magazines in Super 8 were all sound film. I have a Niso that does not work properly that also would take the 200-foot cartridges or magazines. And they have Canon also has a Canon Pacific 200/12, which I think is a 12:1 zoom, and mine is an 8:1 zoom. They're identical for the most part, but they're big cameras and they're nice. But there are several, actually, Bonnie. Sad about no sound film anymore. I know. Sound film was a lot of fun. So, Attic Darkroom, super cool channel. Thank you for the suggestions. Love Mike's page. Learned so much from this channel. Thank you, Paul. You guys, Paul and I have been friends for a long time. That's Fidelis, the tree guy. He came to my house. I don't know, Paul. What was it, like 20 years ago or so? Maybe not that long, but it was many years ago. We shot some. Paul was a kind of like a in front of the camera kind of guy like me, and we were doing some auditions or some monologue stuff. We had a lot of fun with that. He's a good dude, and he's a music fanatic too. He has a I don't know, you still, hopefully you still have it, your, come on, studio, music studio. Very cool. Hey, there's Manny. Hey, Mike, how are you? Man, I'm doing good, buddy. Thank you for popping in. Those 514 XLs are nice if you can find a functional one. Very rare, though. They are tough to find that work properly. Yes, you are right, my friend. Final 48mm projectors, one sound. Yeah, Bonnie, you got everything. And you probably paid $1 for each one, didn't you? Not top. Sounds like you dislike more about... Why do you always find the negative? I guess that's a good question, actually. I love the lens. I love the sharpness of Canon products, period. All of my normal YouTube videos are shot on my Canon M50. I used a Canon T2i prior to that, a Canon 7D prior to that. So I've always used Canon still cameras. Coincidentally, my favorite 35mm still camera is my Nikon F3. Something about the ergo of that camera is beautiful. But you know, that's really a decent point, Dave. I can just tell this is not a cheaply made camera. I can tell it's not a Canon, like one of the smaller, lower end Canons, like the P132 XL or something like that. It's a heavy duty, really well made camera, and I think that's what I like about it. I know it's reliable as long as you take good care of it. And it gives you beautiful results. And I can't imagine what my results might look like if I sent them to a professional to process and scan. I kind of like how they look when I do it myself, so I can't even imagine what it would look like if I sent them to somebody. Nisi says, never get a 514 XLS, and I will back that up and say he is 100% correct. There's a plastic gear, that's the thing, next to the motor that turns to goo over the years and renders the camera useless. And there have been many that have tried and failed to fix that. It is just so tough to fix these cameras. And I'm sure that's probably exactly what happened to this. You know what's crazy? In some cases, the battery cover down here, I don't know if I can get that out with my finger now, I don't want to tear up my fingers, but in some cases, if you have a good clean battery cover down here, it's worth more than the entire camera if you were to sell. And I wish there was a way, and this camera sadly has gone by the wayside. I left it out of my garage, probably because I didn't have any room in here and it didn't work, and my lens is starting to get all fungusy. So, but the lenses on these cameras are fantastic. I wish there was a way you could harvest these lenses for reuse in something else. Maybe there is, maybe you can save the glass somehow, I don't know. But anyway, I don't think you can. Guys, please let me know if you get another, please let me know if you get another during the live stream ad. I want to know, I really do. Better late than never. Hey Julie, thank you for popping in. It's good to see you. Many moons, yes it was, Paul. Delve Crow Records. If you guys look up Delve Crow Records, and Paul is also a vet, Marine, I believe. Paul, correct me if I'm wrong. So that's just one more reason to love the guy. You guys know how special military is to me. Since I am a newbie, one of the cameras I have has an electric eye, but it also has a manual aperture control. Is that a normal thing with 8mm? Yes, because I think it's not, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the electric eye actually changes the lens, does it? Or I mean, I could be wrong, Jeffrey, but it might just be telling you where you need to be with your exposure. Almost like a meter, like a light meter. But I might be wrong. That's a good question. I think I'll concentrate on an 810 or a 1014 XLS. Let me tell you, Mike, I have an 814 auto zoom electronic. And there are schools of thought on the electronic versus the non-electronic. I have the electronic and I actually have both. I love my electronic. It's just recently the manual exposure, and I know exactly what the issue is slipping now. So you have to pull the dial out and then turn the dial and it moves your manual exposure, it moves your needle and opens and closes your iris. Those get much like this. It's not a gear, it's just a rubber boot inside there. So when you pull the lever out, the little dial, a rubber boot makes contact, and as you turn it, that rubber boot is what's forcing your aperture open and closed. Well, that rubber boot is starting to deteriorate in there now. I know, I've already done the research, and I'm a little nervous about, although I've seen instructions on how to take it apart and replace it, I'm very nervous about doing it because I love the camera. It works great, it's that manual exposure, which is very important to me. So we'll see. 814 is a beautiful camera, and as you probably know, 814 just simply means it's an 8:1 zoom with a 1.4 f1.4 lens. Same with the 1014 XLS. The XLS is for sound film as well, has way more features than the 814, but 814 also has the XLS version. I think that's what you meant. My family met yesterday and looked at old slides from the late 60s to late 80s, and guess who controlled the projector? You go, Bonnie! Pow pow, I have a Niso Super 8mm camera that works, but there are a few teeth missing where the film turns. It should not. It shouldn't. Do you mean when you open in here? Pow pow, the teeth inside on the little spindle in there? If that's what you mean, it shouldn't, because once it catches, it should just turn the normal speed. If you're talking about inside the mechanics of the camera, then it might. But I'm not positive. But if you're talking about just here, and as long as one of them catches the back, it's going to spin it at its normal rate. It should anyway. Or I suppose I should not go for it since I won't need sound. If you can avoid getting a sound camera, I would. It's just one more thing to go wrong. It really is. Most don't, but there are exceptions, Jeffrey. Marine Corps, baby. There it is. Just one more reason. Paul's this schnizzle. And no ads, but it booted me once when everyone else was getting the ad, LOL. So I don't know, but your stream stopped jumping. Okay, good. No more jumping. And my little indicator down here, you guys can't see it, but it's green now. It was flashing red and yellow and green. And now it's just green. So hopefully, is it not lagging? That's good. I like manual. Yeah, Mike, manual exposure. If you're halfway serious about film at all, manual exposure. I think it might be a light meter. I can line up the red line, and the red line will move with the light change. Second black line moves in the app. Second black line moves when the aperture. Okay, so that's what it is. It's telling you where you need to put your aperture manually. That's got to be it, Jeffrey. And I think I've seen that on cameras in the past. I prefer to have control. Yeah, me too, gamer. There's nothing like having control of that aperture. Wasn't Electric Eye just a name Keystone gave for the coupled light meter? Yes. I think you're exactly right, Neezy. I think it was just a guide. It was just something to show you how to set your aperture. Oh, the Jelco, the U8 zoom. Is that the one you sent me pictures of? The Jelco. What a cool camera. Apart from build quality, is there any difference between the silver and black 814 XL and all the black plastic? I don't think there is, Russell. I think it was aesthetics. I think that's all it was. Now, I might be wrong, but I've looked at a lot of them and I've wondered the same thing. I only have the black and silver models, so I can't say with uncertain, I can't say for sure, but I believe it was just aesthetic and look. Yes, where you said correct. Wait, pow pow. What am I talking about here? I'm getting so. Oh yeah, okay. You're talking about the end. Then I think you'll be fine, pow pow. It should not be a problem. Folly Studios, just get the footage. Paul, throw it at me. I don't know what you're talking about. Folly Studios. Are you a part of a studio, or is that a jokey joke? 3D printed a stand for my H16 after the one for my D8L, even though I already have a case for it. You guys are awesome. I have the black plastic one, is why I'm asking. Yeah, I think they're the same. I think they're exactly the same, Russell. Is yours the electronic? Is it the 814 auto zoom electronic? Oh no, yeah, I got you. Falling Studios. Yeah, no need for it now. And everybody records their sound separately anyway. That's what I do now. 3D printing will save lots of cameras. Yes, it will. And I was hoping, yeah, I think it's exactly the same, Russell. I do. I don't know what they would have changed. 3D printing will save lots of cameras. Yes, Mike, they absolutely. And I was hoping somebody would figure out a way to 3D print and do a simple fix for these, because there's so many out there that are just no good. Anyway, like I was saying earlier, this is a 2-pin system, which just means for the ISO settings, you guys know that there's pins in here that designates what the ISO, tells the camera what ISO film you are shooting. And what I did, just for gits and shiggles, is I messed up, is I have a little stack of films here, and I just want to go over these very quickly and show you. These are all empty carts. It's funny, and it's actually something I just learned playing with this. I knew most of them. They're almost like, they're not really pins inside here, but they're little flat, kind of like, I don't know, they're hard to describe, but there's little, we'll call them pins. And when you put a Super 8 cartridge into a Super 8 camera, these notches on the top, right here, you see the notch on the top of your cart, there it is straight, and then these carts have notches along the edge. The bottom notch tells the camera whether or not it's daylight or tungsten balanced film and whether it needs the filter or not. The top notch is for letting the camera know what ISO to meter this film at. And this top notch is either going to push pins in on your camera or it's going to bypass the pins. So with that, old Plus X, which is a very slow speed film, and K40, and I don't have one here, but NKA2, are slow speed films by today's standards, and they push both pins in, which tells the camera to meter your film at either 25 or 40 ISO, or ASA back then, depending on whether it's daylight balanced or tungsten balanced, or your switch. If you throw the filter in front of it, then you are definitely metering at 25. If you do not, for tungsten, I guess they would call it balanced film, 40 ASA. So your old Kodak Plus X and all of your old Kodacram is going to depress both of those little buttons, those little switches in there. These films here, this is what was surprising to me. 50D, 200T, 160. You guys remember the old 160? I don't shoot much of it, but process a lot of that in found film. And 100D, the new 100D. All of those films push in one of the 2 pins. And what that does is that tells your camera to meter either at daylight 100 ISO, which is box speed for the new Ektachrome, or if it's tungsten film, balanced film, it's telling it to meter at 160. 160. Which is a little bit strange for 50D, I thought. I would have rather seen that happen over here in this pile. I was very confused by that. This depresses one of the buttons and leaves the other one up. And that goes in this pile, which is the center, which is the middle of the ISO range for this camera. These 2 films here do not depress either of the 2 little buttons. And we have Tri-X 7278, that's a 200 ISO film, and 500T. which is a obviously tungsten 500 ISO film. Now what that means is both of these are going to meter at 250 or 160 depending on your filter setting. So 160 if you have the sunlight showing, so you have the filter in front, or 250 if you have the bulb showing, or you're telling the camera that it's tungsten film, because with tungsten film you never needed a filter back in the day. So I get the question a lot, can you shoot 500T in a camera like this? Now, well, you can shoot 500T in any camera, but in a camera like this, it's going to meter it at 250, which to me personally, I've shot a lot of 500T in this camera and it comes out great. It really does. It's going to overexpose it, which is really kind of what you want a little bit anyway. I've shot it outside, I've shot it inside, and I've always gotten pretty good results because 500T is very, very pliable. You can really work 500T. I mean, the latitude on that film is insane, just like 50T. A little bit different with Tri-X. It does a good job with it, but you may want to push it a little bit in developing. I don't know. It's a 200 ISO film. It's going to either meet, the camera's either going to meter at 160, which is probably ideal, or 250, which is not ideal really with Tri-X, because you want to give it a little more light, especially when I process it as a negative. But these two cameras meter film exactly the same. So that's where we are with those. I am way behind. Radios, you missed everything. I'm kidding. You didn't miss anything. You missed an ad. Live stream thing before digital cameras existed. Were live streams a thing before? I don't think they were, gamer. Honestly. I want to see Bonnie's films with all her cameras. Yeah, I do too. Bonnie. Is there any camera that you are saving up for, waiting for? Oh, there's a lot of those, Bonnie. There's so many cameras that I really still want. I'd love, and a lot of people don't like them. I love the Aeroflex 16BL, and I'd like a 35BL. Well, there's tons of higher end cameras I'd love to have that I'll never be able to afford, but I would love just a 16BL. They're not overly expensive, a couple thousand. I mean, they're not cheap, but yeah. I'd probably I need to pick up a Beaulieu. I've had R16s, but I've never had any Beaulieu 16 Super 8 cameras. I'd love to have one. How much to get my negatives back? $1 million. We'll talk about that. Email me radios. I'll send them back to you. I usually ask to ship, shipping charge, usually about $8. I'll send them back to you. Don't worry about it. I got a Sony VCR from 1972. I know you mentioned that, unless you just got it. You mentioned that last week. Gets and shiggles. Hey, family friendly, I am so happy with the footage of the 1218. So Radio sent me a roll of 50D, and he took of his grandfather's outdoors. It came out wonderful, by the way, and he used his Canon 1218 and a Canon camera at the end, and I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I think he is too. But his 1218 did a wonderful job, by the way. His grandfather's 100th birthday. I mean, we should all be so lucky. I don't have any grandparents left, and it's sad. Pow Pow took a picture of me. Pow Pow took a picture of me with all the film stuff back in February or March, and I couldn't barely fit everything in the frame. You sound like me now, Bonnie. By the way, I know you're used to 90-degree days in October in Florida, but in Nebraska, it's such nonsense. You guys are having crazy weather, too. That stinks. Funny how people just decided to kill DIM one day and use ASA. I know. I don't know. Use ASA for ISO instead. I know. I don't know why that all happened. DIN, I think it was, right? DIN. Yeah, I would think 50D would meter close. That's what I thought too, Mike, and I wish it did, to be honest. And when you look at the cutouts, they're close. They're close. You guys aren't going to be able to see this on camera, but they're not they're not close. I mean, they're not, am I getting the right ones? They're close, but they're not close. The ones on top here, let me see if I can get in. See that? I don't know if you guys will see it, but this is 50D on this side. This side right here is 50D. See the notches? They're very close, but 50D is a little bit longer. And it's just long enough that it bypasses that one pin. I mean, I guess you could 3D print a little insert that goes inside here that's open on the top and has a little bit that fills in here. So you could push that in, or you could just manual exposure. October in Nebraska, I gotta crank the AC. You know, speaking of AC, I just ordered a new thermostat because my AC keep my house cool, 72-ish degrees Fahrenheit, but I'm looking at my thermostat right now. It says it's 81 in my house, and I bet it's 69, 68, 70, somewhere in that range. And I have it set on 74. It won't stop running. I won't even tell you what my electric bill was, but I think it's the thermostat is broke. So I'm hoping that's what it is, because I ordered a new thermostat. It'll be here tomorrow. Yeah, you wouldn't think you'd have to turn your AC off in Florida. My Canon works fine with the 50D. Yeah, it works great. I mean, I've shot lots of 50D. You guys know that's my favorite film. I've shot lots of it in all of my cameras, and it always comes out fine. I'm just a little confused as to why it's metering like that. And I know 50D, again, like 500T and 200T, you can usually go about 3 stops either way, and you're still going to be in pretty good shape. Old gamer, unsure if that used film, it would probably be like 2 to 3 minute day. Paul says, so the difference between ASA and ISO? There is no difference, Paul. It's American Standards Association or something. I can't remember what they both stand for, but they simply changed the organization, but it's the same. They mean exactly the same thing. Yes, radios. I love the way it turned out. Super 8 only has 1 pin. 2 pins, sorry. Yes, there are some cameras that only have 1 pin in them, and they'll either do 25-40 or I think 100-160. This camera will do 160/250 as well. And there are some cameras, you guys remember that crazy plastic camera, that Bentley, has no pins, but it's also only manual exposure. Arri 35BL 2 perf is on my, 2 perf, can you imagine? That would be so awesome. It's on my wish list too, Barry. You get one, you let me know. If you ever used a 35mm motion picture camera, I would love to see a video with some footage on that, but it would cost you Billy. You know, gamer, I have, okay, I take that back. No, I have owned one. It was a Bell & Howell IMO, and it was in good shape, really good shape, but I sold it before I ran any film through it. Now, Travis, who has got a lot of explaining to do because he missed this live stream, he has one, an IMO, and he brought it to my house, and we shot some stuff in the backyard, and he had that developed, and there's no comparison to 35 to any other format. You can get close with Super 16, but boy, 35 done right, it's beautiful. Aeroflex and IMO, I'd love to have. Yeah, I mean, I'd settle for an Arri 2C, you know, one of the little goofy cameras that the motor is in the handle. You know, they're hard to. I just love to have a nice 35mm. I really want an Arri S 16mm. You get out there and get one, Russell. They're not as expensive as they used to be. I just saw there's one on eBay now. They want a couple thousand for, and I think it even has lenses. I actually missed my first Arri 16S. I had one about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. You guys remember the pictures I showed last week or the week before? Had my sister sitting on a one of my glide shot dollies. That was my original Aeroflex. So I guess it was about 20 years ago. It's a shame they don't give cameras away override automatic ISO. They didn't give cameras away to override automatic ISO. I know. I really want to future-proof. If you could do that, you could almost manual exposure it just by changing the ISO. I wasn't really future like they were thinking those film values would never change. They always thought that you were going to use Kodachrome or Ektachrome. That was it. I know, I get it. My mother turns 90 on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Mrs. Mike. Mike's mom. We should all be so lucky. My neighbor down the street, she's just moving out. Literally this week, moving out, going to a safer place for her. She's probably more active than me, and she's just turned 96. It's just what a sweet lady. Might take a new photo of all my cameras since I have been planning on going through all my cameras and listing them in a large spreadsheet this time. I am not going to take it on HBO. I want to see the spreadsheet. Yeah, Dan, I misspelled. Yeah, I knew what you meant, gamer. I get more stuff to send you. My grandma will be 90 in November. You know what, Radios? You got a long life ahead of you. There's some good genes in that family. In mounds of old furniture, I found my grandfather's old Bell & House Sportster 8mm camera with film still inside. Oh, good luck with that, Rimjet. You might have, I mean, like a treasure in there. Really. Yes, take your time with it. Do a little test. Do a little testing of some of that film before you do the whole roll. And the first thing you do is cut a little strip of it off, and in a dark room, bag it up real good, put it back in a dark spot, and then with that strip, you just a little piece, rub it under the water, warm water, and see if Remjet comes off. If it does, it's probably Kodachrome. Okay, got a dial on the Jelco, has DIN and ASA up to 40. Has ASA up to 40, right? Wow. Been using my UMIG C16 a bit, loving it, miss shooting 60mm, got a setup. A 16 telecine, fun stuff. I love that. I said it before, Manny. I love that camera. What a neat camera that is, that C16. I'd like to have one of those. I just like the way it looks. Yeah, you're right, Mike. I mean, I wish I had one. My great grandma turned 91. Wow. Unreal. Turned 91 a few years ago. Like I say, I don't have any grandparents left. You guys call them as much as you can. I'm not kidding you. You'll miss them when they're gone. Finally, someone else with a C16. Bonnie, you have one of those as well? Why doesn't that surprise me? Hey, Jake. Thank you for popping in. You're only an hour and 11 minutes late. I'm kidding. I'm always happy when you pop in. Oh, 90. Oh, you meant turn 90. I got you. Damn, I got so much to learn. Y'all making my brain hurt, but I dig it. She'll film science. You know, it's funny, Paul. I don't get too much into the you know, I love to develop film, and I shoot film, and I love everything about film. But I don't always care too much about why film does certain things. I know a little. I could hold my own. But as far as chemical breakdowns of developers and all that, I leave that to the scientists. I just know what does what, and I'm happy with that. I have 4 or 5 UMIG C16s. Maybe I'll... You go ahead and send me one, Mike. I will not turn it down. Gamer says, my glass fixer bottle exploded 2 days ago. Made a mess. Oh, fixer is nasty stuff, too, Gamer. Ugh. Make sure you clean that up. Bleach it. Don't chemically don't develop or bleach it. Bleach it with Clorox. Have you seen the GAF 100A camera, Super 8 camera? It looks like a camcorder. I have seen that camera, Jeffrey, and it is cool looking, I have to admit. Very cool. My great grandma was 3 weeks away from getting a letter from Carl Gustav A. Wow. Is that a, would that be a, how old do you have to be to get the letter, Bonnie? 3 weeks away. Not sure why. Wow. That's crazy. Love my C16. Manny did a video on his C16. It was a fun video. I recently found that a photography shop near me, telecine 9.5 millimeter. I remember someone talking about it last week. I can leave a link here. Yeah, I think it was Mike, or somebody found a roll. Maybe it wasn't Mike. There's so many Mikes in the stream. Somebody found a roll of 9.5 and didn't know what to do with it. But I don't remember who it was. Was that you, Mike? Somebody found a roll of 9.5. Oh, you have to turn 100. Wow. That's like Betty White. You guys know Betty? Remember Betty White? She was really close to turning 100 before she died. Umix C16s are so cool. They're awesome looking. I like the color. Don't they have like the green tint to them? Yeah, someone. Yeah, okay, it wasn't Mike, but someone mentioned it last week. I don't remember who it was, though. It wasn't you, Jeffrey, was it? Somebody had a 9.5 millimeter. Smash that like button. Yeah, if you guys would, hit the like button. That would be cool. That would be cool. So anyway, guys, we are an hour, guys and girls, we are an hour and 15 minutes into the stream. And you know what that means. Sadly, we have to go. I have to put the lens cap on this live stream. That's so dad jokey. Oh, how old is the King of Sweden then? Yeah, can you imagine? That's the 9.5 link. Did you leave the link, Russell? Oh, it may not let you put links in the chat. Dang it, always goes too fast. I know, Mike, I'm sorry. We have to do a few things on Sunday that I just know. Bonnie, I've already started working on that spreadsheet. Only have 4 of the 29 cameras. There's someone on eBay UK that's constantly listing 30 times 200 foot spools with unknown content. Curious what's on it. I think it may be from archive or something. Oh, they're the same. Was that 9.5 millimeter? Nisi? Love you too, dog. You know, Paul. Dolphins getting spanked by the Bills. Come on, fellas. Always a great time. Thanks, Mike. Your stream and your passion. Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate you stopping in as usual. Yeah, sorry. The links may have gotten deleted. Put it in the comments, though. Put the link. You should be able to post a link in the comments once the video is on my channel. A great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. I'll be looking forward. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, everybody, all my regulars. You know I like to try to say all your names, but I don't anymore. I'm not going to because I always leave out some important people. So thank you to everybody. Hopefully I got with everyone. And I will definitely see everybody unless something crazy comes up. I will see everybody next Sunday with another exciting, fun. See you, Pete. Bye, Manny. Oh, there I am. See, I'm bringing it all up again. You guys are awesome. You know I appreciate every single one of you. So, Carmelo. Thank you, Mike. Always great to tune in here at work, listening only to the stream in background. Pleasant Sunday. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's Robert, right? Yeah, I think that's Robert. Thank you guys so much, and I will see everybody on the next